Let the 50th Hunger Games begin! Part 1, the birthday.
Day for Krista.
Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor. How many Hunger Games books have you read?
0.
You have to catch up.
No. I think I'm all caught up with the movies.
I did make Temo sit down and watch every single movie in a row. It was amazing.
It was for your birthday.
Yes. I am a true Hunger Games fan. And I've been so excited for this book to come out. I've been thinking about it for months, ever since they announced it. This is going to be Haymitch's perspective. So we've done Katniss, Hunger Games 1, 2, and 3. Then there's Snow's perspective, President Snow, which is a prequel. And this is also a prequel, kind of in between the two. Temo's on his way. We're going to go get his hair cut. Look at how much hair he has. Your hair grows so fast.
Yeah.
You're very lucky.
Yes.
So a little backstory. The first time I read The Hunger Games was actually in 8th grade, back in 2010. My English teacher at the time read it aloud to the entire class, and the whole grade was so enthralled. And I remember she had to make a rule, no spoilers, because the earlier classes were giving away what was happening and the later classes were getting upset. I have read the whole series several times now. We've watched the movies a whole bunch of times. I love the Hunger Games series. I love the world. I love the characters. And I'm so happy that she's continuing the series and doing more perspectives. I'm gonna go ahead and read this jacket cover. It says it on the back here too. When you've been set up to lose everything you love, what is there left to fight for? As the day dawns on the 50th annual Hunger Games, fear grips the districts of Pan Am. This year, in honor of the Quarter Quell, twice as many tributes will be taken from their homes. Back in District 12, Haymitch Abernathy is trying not to think too hard about his chances. All he cares about is making it through the day and being with the girl he loves. This is a different side of Haymitch because all we know is this drunken, kind of nonchalant, doesn't care about anything. I'm getting ahead of myself. When Haymitch's name is called, he can feel all his dreams break. He's torn from his family and his love, shuttled to the capital with 3 other District 12 tributes. A young friend who's nearly a sister to him. Oh, so he knows one of the tributes. A compulsive odds maker, and the most stuck-up girl in town. As the games begin, Haymitch understands he's been set up to fail, but there's something in him that wants to fight, and have that fight reverberate far beyond the deadly arena. So this is something I have been hearing some theories about online. Hold on now. If you haven't read this book yet, this video is full of spoilers. So make sure you go and get the book, read it. If you haven't read the Hunger Games series at all yet, I really recommend you just read the original series first, then read Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, and then you can pick this one up because it is really just full of little details, references, and like chains to the whole story that will just make a lot more sense if you read them in that order. So go read this book and then you can watch this video. Katniss was the mockingjay that set fire to the rebellion, but people are thinking that Haymitch kind of planted that seed long before that, and when he finally got to Katniss as a mentor, he kind of was like, this is the chance to make those pieces happen. And he was sort of the original tribute to kind of piss off the Capitol. Anyways, I'm so excited to read this book. It is, 382 pages long. I feel like that's a pretty hefty book, but I'm gonna get through it so fast, I just know it. Part 1, the birthday. Happy birthday, Haymitch. Oh God, it's born on reaping day. That's gotta suck so bad. Wait, I kind of don't want to get to know this Sid little brother because we all know. Lenore Dove. That sounds like it's gonna be Haymitch's love. What a pretty name. Another character I don't want to get to know. Like 2 Hunger Games in one. There's my cutie. What you got there?
Hello.
Hey.
What do you think?
You look so good.
Is it all over me? I feel it. But you like it?
I like it a lot. It looks great, baby.
You want to see what I got?
Yeah.
There was a Subway like right next to it. So I had to get a cookie.
Wow.
It was only $5.
Look at that. That looks delicious.
For a long cookie.
Treat yourself. So my first thought so far is that I'm just really sad getting to know these characters because all we know about Haymitch is that he is alone and has no family. And now, as we're meeting Haymitch, young Haymitch, we're meeting his family, and it's just sad. But I love the writing so far. So excited to see what happens. Let's keep going. Sounds like the girl that Haymitch is into is part of the Covey, which is the same tribe that, what's her name? Lucy Gray. The Covey is the same part Lucy Gray is a part of. Okay, so very interesting. A lot of people were speculating, is Lucy Gray going to be mentioned in this book at all? Because at the end of the Songbirds book, it's very ambiguous whether she dies or she lives. And so far, they're doing a lot of name dropping at the beginning of this book. The reaping hasn't happened yet, but Haymitch's love is definitely part of the Covey, which is the same group that Lucy Gray was a part of. So very interesting connection there. And it's interesting to see all the way back to Snow's generation how these characters have affected what's going to happen to Katniss. So Very interesting beginning, and I'm excited to keep going. Oh my gosh, so much happening.
Oh,
The reaping is happening.
the reaping.
Luella. That's an interesting name.
Luella?
Luella.
You keep making up names now. That's not a name.
There's a girl whose name I think is Asterd.
Aster.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but every time I look at it, all I think is Asterd.
It's.
Okay, I need to like do some research and remember who Maisily is. I know that Katniss's mom is either best friends with Maisily. It sounds like Maisily has a twin. They're all, I can't remember which one. So if the Donner is Katniss's mom, it sounds like it. It sounds like, oh my god, you know what I think it is? I think Burdock, whatever, Haymitch's best friend, is Katniss's dad, and the sweets person and or the apothecary one is Katniss's mom. And they all grew up around the same time. And now for the boys. I miss Effie. Wait, what? She's mad that there's a mess. I can't. This just, wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. There you go. Okay. So we just got through reading The Reaping. Oh my goodness. Haymitch's name doesn't even get called. There's a big commotion. The boy's name, who they do call, runs away, and lots of murder.
People start dying?
Oh my gosh. Wow. It seems like, things were bad during Katniss's time, but they're much worse now. They're not forgiving in any way, and it's all about the show, for the cameras. Do it for the cameras. She was doing something there. And may the odds be ever in your favor. So it sounds like the timing isn't right for Lenore Dove to be Lucy Gray's daughter, but Lucy Gray, Lenore Dove, both of those are colors and the color gray. And she's confirmed to Baird, so there's definitely a connection there. We'll find out. Also, they brought a birthday cake out for Haymitch on the reaping train. Like, that's literally so mean. So mean. And then have the camera in his face like, don't you love it? Okay, I feel like I remember a little bit more about Maisley's character. As I'm reading here, she's the mayor's daughter. It's the twins, Marilee and Maisley. And that's how Katniss originally got the Mockingjay pin in the first book. But in the movie, they removed that whole character and kind of that whole scene with the mayor and his daughter and Katniss being close to her. And they kind of removed that whole character. So I wonder how in this movie they're going to introduce that she's the one who actually had the pin because it's the mayor. That's going to be interesting. This book is doing a good job of tying the first series to the Ballad of Songbirds with that timeline, this being in the middle. The original Hunger Games series talks about the Tribute Center being this huge gymnasium. You see it in the movies too, really high tech. There's a lot of different areas for them to practice before they go into the arena. But in the very first Hunger Games, from President Snow's movie, we see that they're basically at the zoo and they haven't really figured out where they're going to hold all of the tributes before they go into the arena. Well, in this book, for the very first time, they're going to the college, the gymnasium of the college from Snakes and From Snakes and Songbirds. So it's really cool because you can see how it's going to turn into the giant fantastic one that's in the Hunger Games. Would you like some? So you're probably not going to read the book, right? So, like, how much are you okay with me spoiling it to you?
All of it.
All of it?
Yeah.
Even though the movie's coming out,
Yeah.
you're going to... Okay. Yeah? Okay. Well, okay. What I wanted to tell you was that... Good morning and welcome to day 2 of reading Sunrise on the Reaping, the 5th Hunger Games installment. I've honestly absolutely loved it so far. I'm a huge fan of the series and this book ties everything together. She's doing so many characters that connect and show up again from the old series, and it's just really, really fun to read. I literally have a million questions. Because there's so many returning characters, are they going to have all the same actors or different actors play them in this new movie that's coming up? I'm so curious because I just got to that scene where Haymitch is interacting with Snow and it made me think, are they going to have the same actor play Snow? He's like 50 something in this movie, so it's quite an age jump, but I can't imagine anyone else playing him. Who's it going to be? I need to know. What I really wanted to talk about too is as I was going into reading this book, there were about three things that I really knew for sure about the story because of what I've learned from Haymitch in the other books. First of all, he wins the Hunger Games, okay? We know that happens. We know kind of how he does it. Secondly, is that he is an ally with Maisley. we hear that in the second book that him and Maisley get together and they're allies throughout his Hunger Games. Thirdly is that he gets to be in the Hunger Games. Like, his name gets drawn and he gets to go be part of this experience. So it was so cool when I started reading, and none of those things happened exactly how I thought they were going to happen so far. His name wasn't drawn at the reaping. It was just, I was totally expecting that to happen, and she didn't do that. So it was really cool to see. And then so far, him and Maisley are not clicking, and he's teaming up with Luella, which, okay, Luella. What a character so far. I feel so heartbroken over the scene with the chariot. I was so sad, and I was like, okay, this makes sense that she has to, not be around before the games even start so that Maisley and Haymitch can team up and be allies. But then I get to the end of part 1 last night. Haymitch is standing there with Snow, and he goes, here's your birthday present. And who walks in but Luella? Literally everyone said that she was dead, and now she walks in the door. What does that mean? Does everyone think Luella is going to be a mutt? Is that what she is? Also, in the original Hunger Games series, it's pretty known that the mentors during the games are always a victor who won the games before. And that's always been Haymitch in District 12 because he's only been the only one who's won the games except for Lucy Gray. In this book, I was like, well, who are they going to have be the mentors for Haymitch because no one's won yet? And what they ended up doing is they pick from victors who's won from other districts. So he ended up getting Wyrus and Mags as his mentors. That is such a fun connection because when Katniss goes into the second arena, those are exactly the people she wants as her allies. So it's funny to see her bring that back and have them be mentors for Haymitch, and we get to learn a bit more about these characters. Plutarch's character. I love his character. This is someone that we know really well in the Hunger Games series. He ends up being Coin's right-hand man, a really big person in pushing the rebellion forward. And it's so cool to see who he is right now as just a lowly District 12 member, still a really rich person, a high-standing family in the Capitol, but someone that Snow clearly already isn't a fan of and is doing what he can to help the tributes without blowing his cover as a Capitol member. So I love Plutarch's character. I can't wait to see more about it. And I'm so curious who they're going to have to play him as well in this new movie. Beedy's character, I'm so excited that they brought Beedy back. It's so cool to see Wyrus and Beedy. But oh my goodness, how heartbreaking. He's clearly a person who's already trying to dismantle the Capitol as well. And they force him to mentor his own son to the death. Nobody thinks poor, I forget what his name is going to win. Aw, it's so sad to see a lot of these characters and get to know them and like them and know that none of them are going to be around much longer because Haymitch is the one who wins. She does a great job of writing these characters and making you want to know them and love them because I already do. Okay, I literally have so much I could say and I could keep going forever, but I'm going to keep reading and we'll get back into these questions and themes about the book later. So I took this sentence and I put it in a chat to make it pictures for me. They're coming out so cool. I seriously love all the parallels between Katniss's story and Haymitch's story, and he truly is like the spark that starts her flame, which is why I think he has the fire starter as his token. Like, she's just so thoughtful with all this. So many details. I truly love it. Part 2, The Rascal. Oh yeah, what is gonna happen with Luella? Let's find out. So Luella is not a mutt, but she's definitely not Luella. They said she has something on her chest that's like constantly pumping drugs into her. This poor girl, the evilness that this lady is able to imagine is just so real and insane. It really gets to you. Also, let's talk about Snow poisoning people. It was so cool to see them kind of tell those stories the first time we heard of it in, the second or third Hunger Games, when they're kind of telling everything they know about Snow. It's Finnick. Finnick gets on air and tells everything he knows about Snow so that they can distract, so they can save PETA. And some of the stuff he reveals is that Snow loves to poison people. And then in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, we see Snow kind of do his first poison, and now in this book, he's kind of getting good at it, and he's very openly kind of poisoning people who do him wrong, and he takes it himself too, so that no one kind of knows when it's happening, and he's just kind of been able to get his stomach to get over it somehow. Yeah, Snow is all sorts of crazy.
OMG, you would not believe what this book.
Effie's back! How cute! What a great way to have her be in the story. It's the stylish older sister, and she's a rock star, of course. Effie and Haymitch have known each other for so long. So just to clarify, the first Hunger Games that we read about, Katniss's Hunger Games, that is the 74th Hunger Games. And then it's the third quarter quell in the second book when she goes again. Haymitch's is the second quarter quell. It's the 50th Hunger Games. And then in the prequel, The Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds with Snow, that one is the 10th Hunger Games. So they're actually just talking about the 25th Hunger Games, the first quarter quell. And in that one, they made all of the districts vote for who the tributes were going to be. Can you imagine, your whole town is like, yeah, you're gonna go die. Or if you win and then you come back and everyone had picked you to go, either way, that sucks. That's so bad. Temo brought up a good point though. What if you were from one of those career districts where you were training to be in the Hunger Games, and then everyone voted and thought you were the person to win, and then you did? That would be a really cool story to hear too. Who won the quarter quell? I want to know that one. I knew I liked Plutarch. He's showing his loyalty to Haymitch by getting Lenore on the phone. How cute! No, they arrested her though. She sang the hanging tree. He's starting something. What if they're never together again? So sad. I'm gonna keep that. So Haymitch has just risen up into the arena, and the first thing he has to say is, wow, it's so beautiful. I thought that the end of part 2 was going to be him entering the arena, like that would be the beginning of part 3, but I'm still got 2 chapters left of part 2, and he has already entered the arena, so we'll see what kind of happens with that. But I wanted to take a break and just talk about some things that I was thinking. Okay, so leading up to the games, Haymitch has already caused a lot of trouble. And President Snow decides that he has to instill some fear into him, and he goes and has this one-on-one meeting with Haymitch. This is very similar to what happens with Katniss, and Katniss is causing some trouble early on, so President Snow takes it upon himself to visit her house and kind of try and scare her straight. Both Haymitch and Katniss react to this by deciding their fate is sealed. If I'm going to die, I'm going to go out fighting. It kind of has the exact opposite effect that President Snow wanted it to have. And so since Haymitch has kind of accepted his fate, he's chosen to try and disrupt this games as much as possible. He's working with Beetee, he's working with Plutarch, and he's working with Beetee's son to try and drown the arena, try and blow up the arena, very similar to what Katniss ends up successfully doing. I think that Haymitch is not going to be super successful in this process, which is why they have to wait a whole another 15 years to successfully kind of end the Hunger Games, but a lot of them are really trying to do that already. He also has decided that he doesn't want to take on any allies. Very different than some of the other years where it has been just the careers as an alliance and everyone else kind of just fighting for themselves. This year, they've kind of gathered everyone together who isn't in the career pack and formed a separate alliance. So it's kind of like 50-50 in the alliances right now. Actually, the non-careers have more people than the career pack. Haymitch has chosen not to be involved in the big alliance and go out on his own. It's because the Capitol's already going after me. They're attacking me. They gave me a score of 1. They want me dead. You guys can't be with me. Otherwise, you're just going to get caught up in this and die because of me, and I don't want that. But what he really wants to do is sneak off and try find a way into a mutt tunnel and then blow up the arena from underneath. These mutt tunnels reminded me, Snow specifically had all the mentors ask their tributes, what do you want most out of this games? Everyone wants to win, but what do you want more than winning? And he got to know their deepest kind of desire, and he's absolutely using it against all of them. He is coming up with whatever is freaking in them out the most and using that in the games against them. So Haymitch made it pretty clear a slow, long death by some kind of terrible mutt creature would be the worst way to go. And he told him, that's exactly what's going to happen to you if you do not do everything I say. So that's pretty messed up. I'm very excited to see what goes down during these games. There's so many people. It seems like, I feel like the bloodbath at the beginning is going to be big. A lot of them are just going to be gone right away. And then we're going to jump into part 3. So I'm curious where the break happens and what's going to happen next. So let's keep reading. I might be able to finish tonight. This is how much I have left. So let's see what happens. What is with the way she names these characters? We got Regina, Ampert, Corleonanis, Sejanus. It's just the Anus brothers, Armpit and Vagina.
Isn't it Regina?
No, it's spelled Ringina. Regina. Reginia. I'm sure it's beautiful.
Vagina.
I remember the deal with this arena now. Everything looks beautiful. It's like got the most amazing birds, trees, flowers. There's food everywhere. It's all poisoned. Snow with his poison. What's with this guy? And that's the end of part 2. Wow, reading what happens at the first part of the games, I'm like, I do not want to see any of this happen. It is really intense, kind of super gory, and I'm like, it's a bit much for me. I don't know. Like I guessed, Haymitch was unsuccessful in his attempt to kind of break down the entire system, and he's going to get super punished for it really soon. The volcano just erupted, and it's going to destroy the arena in the way the game makers intended. And now, I mean, we're 3 days in, and half the tributes are already dead. So this is a very quick games, very intense, very brutal. But we will see how it ends. Part 3. The poster. So he's been talking this whole time about painting his poster with blood and trying to make his mark on the games. And what is he going to do to kind of disrupt this never-ending Hunger Games? One thing that we know is going to happen at the end here is he's going to meet up again with Maisley. She's been kind of MIA this whole time. She didn't stick with the newcomer alliance. And of course, she wouldn't team up with the careers. So no one kind of knows what's happening with her. But we know that her and Haymitch are going to meet up at some point. So let's see what happens here at the end. You know what's so funny is they keep mentioning ham hock soup as like a District 12 novelty dish, and it keeps reminding them of home. And the last time I was up home at Washington with my family, my mom made ham and bean soup just kind of like that. And I'm like, oh, I miss my mom and my family. So cute. My mom used to read us the Hunger Games too when we were little. So I just finished Sunrise on the Reaping last night, and wow, this was a great read. I definitely recommend this series. If you haven't read the Hunger Games series at all, what are you waiting for? But this is a great addition to the whole world. It really ties a lot of the stories together. We get to meet a lot of characters in their younger years, and we meet Katniss's parents. Effie makes an appearance. We get to see Plutarch as his beginnings a little bit. But can we talk about the ending? Oh my goodness. I was so sad. That is so mean. Not the gumdrops. I can't even read the rest. Now I can eat the one Sid got me. I'm like, that's just evil. That is so mean. Who even thinks of that? It's so mean. I really wasn't expecting. I feel so silly thinking about it because it's poison. Like, I should have seen it coming. But as I was reading that moment and she's like eating the gumdrops, I was shocked and just so sad. But what clever writing. I think that's exactly what Snow would have done. He's so sadistic, so evil, and just really playing the mind games there. He made Haymitch do it himself. That's so bad. That's so bad. I feel like I could talk for a million years about all the themes in this book. This is what it looks like without the dust cover on it. And in the back of this edition, there's an interview with the author, Suzanne, and she talks about, someone asks her, were you thinking about writing this Quarter Quell novel, or how did you know you wanted to tell Haymitch's perspective? And she kind of dives into the themes that kind of prompted her to want to tell this story and how relevant it is to our world today. And if you're interested in a video like that where I just go on and on about the Hunger Games series and everything that it means, let me know and I will totally make one of those. But for now, I think we'll just wrap it up with my thoughts on the book overall. There were a lot of things that we already knew about this story before we started reading it, and so I was really interested to see how she was going to kind of just tell a story that we already knew, but she did so in such a fantastic way where every corner was something I wasn't expecting to happen. And even those moments that I was looking forward to reading, they did kind of happen in the way that they happened already in the second book. We originally hear Haymitch's story for the first time when Katniss and Peeta are on the train and they're reviewing all the victors' stories to try and prepare themselves for their Hunger Games. And the author specifically mentions how she wanted to retell that story because she knows that the way that they heard it was not the way it was actually lived. And this messaging of propaganda and how it works in the favor of whoever's telling the story it was just so interesting and such a theme in this book. And it was done so well. I was so surprised at every moment, and I cannot wait to see this on the big screen. I'm so excited that they're making the movie at the same time, and I'm just so excited. I will say there are some scenes where I was like, this is very graphic. I have no idea how they're going to play this out visually, but we will see. Anyways, if you're a fan of the Hunger Games series, you definitely have to read this book. Definitely read it before the movie comes out. I'm probably going to read it again right away and pick up on all those little things that I missed. She did such a good job writing the story and diving deeper into these characters that we already love and introducing new characters. It's just a must read. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave you with some fan art that I've created already for Sunrise on the Reaping. And let me know your thoughts below. What are your theories? What do you think is going to happen in the movie? Who's going to play all of these characters? And what was your favorite part of this story? So happy Hunger Games. And remember, nothing you can take from me was ever worth keeping. Because you can never take love. Such a good book.
Krista runs at dawn, leaves her name where the waves crash strong, steals the fire, laughs still.